Hey, while I'm at it, while I am answering a lot of questions from contests, I wanted to do Mercy's Little Shows contest. Love Mercy's show. Just love her spirit and her boldness. So, she asked us a bunch of questions. I don't remember if she told us what the prizes are, but I'm not in it for the prizes. I like answering these questions, and I want to salute a good show. So her first question was, what is the first comic book you ever bought? And I know exactly what that is, and I've remembered it ever since, although I do not own a copy of it. But it is Avengers 93. I think this is from 71 or 72. I was 9 years old. It was in Vermont in a pharmacy that was also a cafe or a diner, and my family was there on a short vacation, and I was bored to death. We were just doing hiking and stuff. Stuff that I love now, but I hated then. And there was a spinner rack of comics, and I had 25 cents, and I begged and begged my parents to let me because they felt comics were bad for you. Many of you, or any of you who have been with me for years here on the channel, have heard this story before. But, yeah, so I finally wore my parents down. They said, you can buy one comic. And then, well, in my memory, I spent, this inordinately long time carefully examining the cover of each comic book. And finally chose the Avengers. I vaguely recognized Captain America, and I think I might have recognized the Fantastic Four. I might have seen them once or twice on reruns of those really old Marvel cartoons that I would see only when I would visit my grandmother in New York City. And so I picked this one out. And because it had lots of superheroes, it had the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. But it is no shock, if you know this issue, that I was hooked. It's one of Neal Adams' very best works at Marvel. Maybe doesn't rank up there with some of his best Batman work, but it's really some prime Neal Adams, and it's sort of the beginning of the Kree-Skrull War, depending on where you consider the story to have started. But it contains this amazing adventure where Ant-Man goes inside the Vision to cure him, find out whatever is wrong with him, and I was totally in love. So this was amazing stuff. I spent months thereafter examining every picture and trying to draw Ant-Man and trying to draw Captain Marvel. So with my very first comic, I was immediately trying to draw my own, partially because I was in love with the stuff and partially because I couldn't get any other comics. So, I just remember trying to copy these pictures of Captain Marvel breaking free of his bonds. And I actually remember that what the second comic I bought was and the third comic I bought. After that, it gets to be a bit of a blur. But it probably took me 6 months or so to buy those first 3 comics. So yeah, thanks for bringing back those memories, Mercy. Mercy's next question was, if you had to make a team-up between 2 heroes who've never had an ongoing together before, who would you pick? And since so many of the Marvel and DC characters have teamed up over time, I had to think out of the box. So I'm picking Jonah Hex teamed up with Rorschach from the Watchmen. Let's see if I can get a good picture of old Rorschach. The vengeful Steve Ditko-esque superhero as almost villain, as Psycho, teaming up with Jonah Hex. That would be my pick for a team up if I could choose it. What is your favorite current comic series? Boy, I should have thought about that one ahead of time. Clone, which I just found out was canceled, is one of them. Wonder Woman, that just ended, as was one of your favorites, Mercy, was way at the top of my list. So I would have said Black Science about 4 months ago, but now Black Science is kind of iffy for me, so I'm almost in the market for a new favorite. I like Alex and Ada a lot, so that might be my current favorite if I have to choose one. Bear in mind, I buy 50 comics a month, and I'm very picky, so I'm always looking for good ones, so 30 or so of those 50 comics are probably my favorites in a certain way. Marvel, so her next question is a hypothetical situation. Marvel, DC, and Image no longer exist. You can only get your comics from one of the remaining publishers. Who do you choose? And instantly, the three choices that jump to my mind are Dark Horse, Boom, and IDW. Because any other publisher doesn't publish enough or doesn't have enough variety, in my mind, that I can think of. So those three, and of those three, I think I would pick IDW. It's a really close call. But I feel like there's a bunch of IDW books that I'm really enjoying now, starting with Little Nemo. If I could almost call Little Nemo my favorite comic book right now. So her next question is, you have to choose a theme for the DC variant covers month. What do you choose? Well, me and my daughter are always noticing, or she's always noticing, hey, DC has Warner Brothers, like with Scooby-Doo. She actually notices Warner Brothers and Disney. She was always asking, why are all the movies by Disney? And then we've noticed that some are by Warner Brothers. That seems to be the other one that we see much of with the Looney Tunes. So I would say a Warner Brothers crossover covers for the next DC thing. So they have to have the Looney Tunes in it, or Scooby-Doo, or because Warner Brothers now owns Hanna-Barbera, so it could have any of those Hanna-Barbera things, the Flintstones, the Jetsons. So yeah, I want to see on every cover Batman teamed up with Fred Flintstone, and The Flash racing the Roadrunner, etc. That would be my... generally, I probably still would want the regular covers. I don't like getting the variant covers. And finally, you have to ask me a question in your video. So, Mercy, do you read comics with your significant other? And if you were single, I think you're not single. If you were single and there were two guys and one liked comics and one didn't, but as far as you could tell, otherwise they both had the qualities that you like, which one would you choose? That doesn't quite work. So if they had equal qualities plus one liked comics, obviously you'd pick that one, right? So if you had ones that were roughly equal, but one of his good qualities was that he liked comic books, which would you choose? I think you get the gist of that question. Would someone liking comics influence your dating choices? Okay, that's my question. I'm going to do one more of these for a contest that's already expired, just because I liked the questions. I have to apologize to all the people who have had contests who I generally just pass on contests, and for whatever reason there are a bunch of contests right now and I just felt like doing one of them, and I thought, well, then I'll do a bunch of the others. I do think that contest answering videos tend to get less people watching them, but I often just take the questions out of people's contests and do them in a vlog, and then I have more people watching them. So I don't know which way to do it. Is it more, do people who are running the contest feel insulted if you don't do a special video about their contest? Given the fact that I don't really want to win anything, I've got 3 or more boxes of comics that I haven't read yet. So I don't really feel the need to win more comics. Anyway, talk to you all later, probably quite soon. See you in the next video.